The shock did not come quietly, it arrived as a rupture in the emotional core of the global fandom, raising an unsettling question from the very first moment. Why would Jungkook's sudden removal, even as a rumor, trigger mass tears, and what truth? Is Jeon allegedly urging ARMY to confront? The intensity of the reaction itself became the headline, eclipsing facts and forcing a deeper examination of how quickly uncertainty can transform into collective panic. Within hours, timelines were flooded with fragments of information, emotional reactions, and speculative interpretations. Jungkook's name trended alongside words like removed, erased, and silenced, not because of a verified announcement, but because of absence. Absence from imagined schedules, absence from fan-made narratives, absence from expectations that had been assumed rather than confirmed. In the modern media ecosystem, absence often speaks louder than statements, but should it? Or does silence merely invite projection? The phrase attributed to JN, "You deserve to know the truth," became a catalyst rather than a conclusion. Detached from context and repeated across platforms, it was no longer a sentence, but a symbol. Was it a call for transparency, an emotional response taken out of proportion, or a line lifted and reframed to fit a more dramatic storyline? Each repetition sharpened the sense of urgency, yet diluted the possibility of accuracy. If truth truly existed behind the rumor, where was its verifiable source? What followed was not confirmation, but amplification. Fan communities moved rapidly from confusion to conviction, often skipping the critical step of verification. Emotional investment filled the informational gaps. Jungkook's perceived removal was discussed as fact, not because evidence supported it, but because the narrative felt emotionally plausible. This raises an uncomfortable question. Are we responding to reality or to a story that aligns too perfectly with our fears about pressure, control, and vulnerability in the idol industry? Jin's supposed emotional reaction further complicated the narrative. Known for composure and symbolic leadership, any suggestion of his distress carries weight. Yet weight alone does not equal truth. In a landscape driven by short clips, edited captions, and algorithmic reward systems, emotional expressions are often detached from their original meaning. Are we witnessing genuine signals or consuming interpretations shaped by sensational framing? The role of entertainment agencies also became a focal point. Silence from management is frequently interpreted as concealment, but silence can equally indicate the absence of an issue worth addressing. When no official statement exists, should speculation automatically replace confirmation? Or does this reflex reveal more about audience psychology than institutional behavior? What is undeniable is the emotional magnitude of the response. Mass tears did not emerge from facts alone, they emerged from identification. Jungkook represents continuity, youth, and emotional openness for many fans. Any threat, real or imagined, to that presence feels personal. Yet emotional truth and factual truth are not interchangeable. Can a story feel true without being true? And if so, what responsibility do audiences carry in distinguishing the two? As the narrative spread, critical voices began to surface, reminding readers that no verified source had confirmed Jungkook's removal. No official communication supported the claim, and no direct statement from JN substantiated the dramatic interpretations circulating online. The story, powerful as it was, rested on speculation layered upon speculation. At what point does repetition become misinformation? This moment demands reflection rather than reaction. If this incident teaches anything, it is how easily collective emotion can override skepticism. Information drawn from platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and other social media spaces moves fast, but speed is not accuracy. Engagement is not evidence. Virality is not verification. So the question returns, sharper than before. Do we truly believe this event is real, or are we witnessing a constructed narrative designed, intentionally or not, to capture attention and emotional investment? And if it is the latter, what does that say about how we consume news, about idols, about truth itself? Jungkook has not been officially removed. Jin has not issued a confirmed declaration demanding hidden truths be revealed. The emotional storm, however, is real, and that alone should concern us. It reveals how fragile the boundary is between information and imagination, between concern and certainty. In the end, perhaps the most important truth ARMY is being urged to know is not about Jungkook, JN, or any single decision, but about the necessity of critical distance. To care deeply does not mean to believe blindly. To support does not require surrendering skepticism. Before sharing, reacting, or mourning, we must ask, what do we actually know and what are we merely feeling? Thank you for reading and for choosing reflection over reaction. What makes this moment even more unsettling is not the rumor itself, but how quickly belief takes root once emotion is activated. Ask yourself honestly, did you pause to question the source before reacting, or did the intensity of the narrative feel convincing enough to replace evidence? In an era where information is consumed faster than it can be verified, emotional resonance often becomes a substitute for factual certainty. But should it? The widespread reaction reveals a deeper pattern. When fans encounter stories involving fear, loss, or secrecy, especially about figures they deeply admire, the instinct to protect often overrides the instinct to question. Is this a reflection of loyalty or a vulnerability that sensational narratives are designed to exploit? Media ecosystems thrive on engagement, and nothing fuels engagement faster than panic mixed with affection. Are we witnessing concern for Jungkook or participation in a cycle that rewards exaggeration? Consider how fragmented content shapes perception. Short clips, dramatic thumbnails, and emotionally loaded captions extracted from longer contexts circulate without accountability. A sentence, a pause, a facial expression, each can be reframed to imply crisis. But when fragments replace full context, can truth survive intact? Or does it inevitably bend to the most clickable interpretation? The repeated invocation of truth itself deserves scrutiny. When creators claim that the truth is being hidden, they position the audience as insiders, granting a sense of urgency and moral duty to share the message. But is the promise of hidden truth a genuine call for transparency or a rhetorical device to sustain attention? History shows that claims of secrecy often flourish where verification is weakest. It is also worth questioning the role of collective reinforcement. When thousands repeat the same claim, doubt begins to feel antisocial. Skepticism is framed as indifference, even betrayal. Why does questioning a narrative sometimes feel like questioning the artists themselves? This emotional conflation blurs boundaries and discourages critical thought, even though critical thought is precisely what protects both artists and audiences from misinformation. The platforms cited, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and others, are not inherently unreliable, but they are structurally incentivized towards speed and virality, not accuracy. Algorithms reward what spreads, not what is proven. If a claim gains traction because it provokes tears, anger, or fear, does that make it more credible or simply more profitable? This is a question every consumer of digital media must confront. Reflect also on the silence that often follows such storms. When rumors fade without confirmation, they rarely receive the same attention as their explosive beginnings. Corrections do not trend as easily as panic. Does the absence of follow-up signal resolution, or does it expose how little evidence there was to begin with? And if no harm appears to have occurred, who bears responsibility for the emotional turmoil that was generated?